The sleek, crystalline starship sliced through the darkness of space, its destination drawing closer with every passing moment. Inside, a team of 5 female xenobiologists from the planet Xiron prepared for their descent. Alia, the youngest and most eager of the group, stared at the blue-green planet through the viewport. Earth was so different from the crystalline deserts of Xiron, lush, vibrant, and teeming with life. This mission was her chance to make groundbreaking discoveries about the mysterious soft-bodied creatures that inhabited this alien world. Final approach sequence initiated. Vera, the pilot, announced. Her exoskeleton clicked as she expertly navigated the ship through Earth's atmosphere. The hull glowed a dull red from the friction, but the ship held steady. Alia's heart raced with anticipation. This was the moment she had trained for, her opportunity to prove herself. The ship descended rapidly, cutting through the clouds and revealing the vast, green expanse below. Detecting a large area of vegetation, approximately 100 kilometers from the nearest human settlement, reported Nix, their data specialist. Alia nodded, excitement bubbling up inside her. Perfect. Set us down there. We need to avoid detection until we've had a chance to observe the natives up close. As the ship touched down in a secluded clearing, Alia could barely contain her excitement. Her exoskeleton shimmered as she prepared to step onto the alien terrain. Remember, exercise extreme caution, warned Zur, the eldest and most experienced member of the team. These humans are unpredictable, and we know little about their capabilities or intent. Alia nodded, though her eagerness threatened to override her caution. She had studied Earth and its inhabitants for years, but nothing could compare to the real thing. This was her chance to make a name for herself, to be the first to understand the bizarre creatures called humans. As the airlock hissed open, Alia stepped out onto the forest floor. The ground was soft beneath her feet, a stark contrast to the hard crystal of her home planet. The air was thick with moisture, carrying the scent of unfamiliar vegetation. It was all so alien, so different, and yet so thrilling. Her team spread out, cataloging the strange flora and collecting samples. Alia's mind raced as she documented the incredible diversity of life around her. Every sound, every scent was new and exciting. She was so engrossed in her work that she almost didn't hear Nex's urgent voice crackling through the communicator. Alia, come quickly. We found something extraordinary. Heart pounding, Alia rushed to join her teammate at the edge of a small lake. What she saw nearly stopped her hearts. A group of humans, completely unaware of their alien observers, was splashing in the water. Their bare skin glistened in the sunlight, revealing the soft, exposed contours of their bodies. They're so vulnerable, Alia whispered, a mix of fascination and revulsion in her voice. Where are their exoskeletons? Maintain distance, Zur ordered, her voice sharp with caution. We cannot risk contamination or discovery. But Alia couldn't tear her eyes away. The humans moved with a fluidity that was both graceful and fragile. How could such delicate creatures survive, let alone thrive? Her scientific curiosity got the better of her. I'm going to get a closer look, she decided. Alia, no, Zur hissed, but it was too late. Alia was already creeping through the underbrush, activating her suit's cloaking device. She moved closer to the lakeshore, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and fear. Up close, the humans were even more fascinating. Their skin rippled and flexed without the protection of an exoskeleton. Their faces were incredibly expressive, constantly shifting with emotion. Alia was so engrossed in her observations that she didn't notice a twig snap beneath her foot. One of the humans, a male with dark hair, turned sharply in her direction. For a heart-stopping moment, Alia thought she'd been discovered. The human squinted, peering into the forest. Hello, is someone there? Alia froze, not daring to move. Her cloaking device wasn't perfect. A keen observer might notice a slight shimmer in the air. She held her breath, hoping the human would lose interest. But instead, he began to wade out of the water, calling to his companions. "I'm going to check something out. Be right back." Panic gripped Alia. She needed to retreat, to get back to the safety of the ship, but her fascination kept her rooted to the spot. The human was now mere meters away, close enough for her to see the individual hairs on his head, the subtle variations in his skin tone. His eyes, a startling shade of green, seemed to look right through her. "Hello," he called again, softer this time. "I know you're there. I'm not going to hurt you." Alia's hearts raced. This was it, first contact. Everything they had prepared for, all their careful plans, were about to be thrown out the airlock. She should run, should maintain the secrecy of their mission. But something in the human's voice, a gentleness she hadn't expected, made her hesitate. With trembling hands, Alia reached up and deactivated her cloaking device. As Alia shimmered into view, the human's eyes widened in shock. He stumbled backward, nearly losing his footing on the uneven ground. "Holy," he breathed, staring at Alia's alien form. You're not from around here, are you?" Alia's translator struggled to process the human's colloquialism, but she understood the sentiment. She shook her head slowly, her antenna twitching nervously. "I am Alia," she managed to say, her name sounding strange through the translator. "I am a student of life." The human's initial shock seemed to wear off, replaced by a wide grin. His expression was one of fascination and awe, emotions that Alia found both intriguing and unsettling. "My name is Alex," he said, recovering somewhat. He held up his hands in what Alia assumed was a gesture of peace. "I'm a biologist. I study life forms, and you're the most incredible life form I've ever seen." Alia's scientific mind kicked into overdrive, analyzing every detail of this close encounter. The human's voice was unlike anything she had heard before, rich with tones and inflections that her speech synthesizer couldn't replicate. His body language was open, unthreatening, and his eyes were filled with a curiosity that mirrored her own. "I study life too," Alia said, trying to maintain her composure. "That is why I am here. To learn, to understand." Alex nodded eagerly, his excitement palpable. "This is amazing. I have so many questions. Where are you from? How did you get here? What?" He was cut off by the sound of voices calling from the lake. "Alex, everything okay over there?" Panic flashed across Alex's face, mirroring Alia's own alarm. I have to go," he said quickly, his voice low. "But please, don't leave. This is too important. I want to help you, to learn from you." Alia hesitated, torn between her mission parameters and the unprecedented opportunity before her. It was not safe. Her presence here had to remain secret. But the scientist in her, the part that craved knowledge and understanding, whispered that this was the opportunity of a lifetime. "It is not safe," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "My presence here must remain secret." Alex nodded, his expression serious. "Of course. I understand. Look, I come to this forest often for my research. Meet me here tomorrow at sunset. I promise, I'll come alone." Before Alia could respond, Alex turned and hurried back toward the lake, calling out reassurances to his friends. She watched him go, her mind reeling from the encounter. This was everything she had ever dreamed of, but also everything she had been trained to avoid. Zer's voice crackled through her communicator, tight with anger and concern. "Report to the ship immediately." With a last glance at the retreating human, Alia activated her cloaking device and made her way back to the ship. Her hearts pounded with a mix of excitement and trepidation. She knew she should tell Zer everything, that the mission had been compromised. But a small part of her, the part that had driven her to become a xenobiologist in the first place, whispered that this was the opportunity of a lifetime. As she approached the ship, Alia made a decision. She would meet Alex again, secret or not. The chance to study humans up close, to truly understand these strange, soft creatures, was too valuable to pass up. The rest of the team was waiting for her at the ship's entrance, their postures radiating tension and disapproval. "What were you thinking?" Zur demanded as soon as Alia was within earshot. "You could have jeopardized the entire mission." Alia straightened, her exoskeleton plates shifting defiantly. "I was gathering valuable data on human behavior and physiology. Isn't that why we're here?" "Not at the expense of our safety and secrecy," Nyx interjected, her multifaceted eyes flickering with concern. "Did they see you?" Vera asked, her tone sharp. "Were you detected?" Alia hesitated, knowing that her next words would shape the course of their mission. She thought of Alex, of the eagerness in his eyes, and the promise of knowledge that he represented. "No," she lied, her voice steady. "They didn't see me." As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, Alia's anticipation grew. She navigated the forest with the stealth of a shadow, her heart pounding with both excitement and anxiety. Her encounter with Alex had left her grappling with the implications of their secret meeting. The forest, now bathed in the soft glow of bioluminescent insects, seemed almost magical compared to the starkly crystalline world of Xyron. Alia reached the lake's edge, where Alex awaited. The calm water mirrored the dusky sky, and the serene atmosphere stood in stark contrast to her racing thoughts. Alex, visibly anxious, paced the shore, his gaze darting towards the trees with every sound. "You're here," Alex exclaimed as Alia emerged from the shadows. His expression shifted from worry to relief, a wide smile spreading across his face. "I wouldn't miss this," Alia replied, her voice filled with a mix of apprehension and excitement. The cloaking device had worked perfectly. She had arrived unnoticed. Alex led her to a secluded spot behind a cluster of trees. "I've been thinking about our conversation," he began, his tone earnest. "There's so much we could learn from each other, but we need a plan to meet safely and keep your presence hidden." Alia nodded, her antenna twitching with interest. "I agree. We must proceed with caution. Our mission is to study your species, not to expose ourselves." Alex glanced around, ensuring they were alone. "I've made a small, secure lab where we can analyze samples from both our worlds. It's hidden well and equipped with tools for in-depth analysis. It's a safe place for us to collaborate." "That sounds promising," Alia said, her curiosity piqued. "But why are you so eager to help us? What do you hope to gain from this?" Alex's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I've dedicated my life to studying life forms, and discovering extraterrestrial life has been a dream. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I want to understand your technology, your biology, everything. And in return, I believe your perspective can offer insights into our own development." Alia considered his words. The idea of working together was both thrilling and risky. "Let's proceed. But remember, secrecy is crucial. If anyone finds out, it could jeopardize our mission and our safety." "Understood," Alex said. He guided Alia through the dense undergrowth to a concealed entrance camouflaged by natural foliage. As they entered, Alia marveled at the advanced technology within the lab. The space was a blend of Alex's scientific tools and makeshift arrangements, showcasing his dedication to his research. "We can start by examining the samples I collected," Alex suggested. He handed her a collection of vials and data pads. These contain various biological samples from the lake and nearby vegetation. Alia carefully analyzed the samples, noting their composition and properties. She couldn't help but marvel at the human ingenuity evident in the lab setup. Despite their technological differences, there was a shared curiosity that bridged their worlds. Hours passed as they worked together, exchanging knowledge and insights. Alia found herself increasingly impressed by Alex's scientific prowess and genuine curiosity. She began to see him not just as a human, but as a kindred spirit in the quest for knowledge. As they wrapped up their work, Alex's expression grew serious. "I need to ask, how do you plan to keep your presence a secret?" Your mission is risky, and I don't want to cause trouble for you. Alia paused, weighing her response. Our mission is to observe and learn, but if we're discovered, it could lead to disastrous consequences. We've taken extensive precautions, including cloaking technology and environmental sensors, to avoid detection, but your assistance has already been invaluable. Then let's make sure our next steps are carefully planned, Alex said. I'll help you analyze the data and continue our research discreetly. Together, we can make this a successful endeavor. Alia smiled, feeling a sense of camaraderie with Alex. Agreed. Let's continue to collaborate and learn from each other. But remember, we must remain vigilant. As the night deepened, Alia and Alex wrapped up their research and parted ways, each carrying a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Alia's mind buzzed with the possibilities their collaboration had unveiled. The risks were significant, but the potential rewards were even greater. Back at the ship, Alia's colleagues were engrossed in their analysis, unaware of the significant development in their mission. Alia entered the ship with a mix of relief and anxiety. She had managed to keep her secret, but the path ahead was fraught with challenges. In her quarters, Alia reviewed the data collected and planned for their next meeting with Alex. The alliance with the human biologist was a chance to unlock new knowledge and foster a deeper understanding between their worlds. But it also carried the weight of secrecy and the potential for unforeseen consequences. As she prepared for sleep, Alia couldn't help but feel a growing connection with Alex. The prospect of bridging the gap between their species was both exhilarating and daunting. The journey ahead was uncertain, but Alia was ready to face the challenges with determination and hope. The days that followed were a whirlwind of activity for Alia and Alex. Their clandestine meetings continued, each session revealing more about their respective worlds and deepening their mutual understanding. As they analyzed the samples and shared their findings, their collaboration flourished. Yet beneath the surface, tension simmered as they navigated the complexities of their secret partnership. One evening, as twilight bathed the forest in soft hues of blue and gold, Alex led Alia to a new area he had been exploring. It was a secluded grove, surrounded by bioluminescent flora that cast an otherworldly glow over the landscape. This place, Alex began, has unique properties. The plants here emit a subtle electromagnetic field, which might be influencing the local wildlife. Alia's eyes widened with curiosity. Fascinating. We've encountered similar phenomena on Xiron, but this is unlike anything we've seen here on Earth. Let's examine it more closely. They set up their equipment and began their analysis. Alia marveled at the intricate details of the bioluminescent plants and the delicate balance of the local ecosystem. As she worked, she noticed Alex's growing enthusiasm, a reflection of her own. These plants, Alex said, holding up a sample, seemed to have evolved to communicate with the insects around them. They might be using biochemical signals to attract pollinators. Alia nodded, her antenna twitching with excitement. This could provide valuable insights into how Earth's biosphere maintains its balance. It's a perfect example of how life adapts to its environment. As they continued their work, the conversation drifted to broader topics. Alex spoke of humanity's achievements and struggles, while Alia shared stories of Xiron's advancements and challenges. Their discussions were marked by a blend of admiration and respect for each other's worlds. Yet, even as they delved into these discoveries, Alia remained acutely aware of the stakes. Their covert mission could be compromised at any moment. The secrecy surrounding their meetings was paramount, and she felt the weight of responsibility keenly. During one of their sessions, Alia's communicator buzzed with an urgent message from her team. "We need to return to the ship immediately," the message read. "There's been a security breach." A cold wave of apprehension washed over Alia. "Alex, something's wrong. I have to go. Is everything all right?" Alex asked, concern etched on his face. Alia hesitated, torn between her commitment to the mission and her concern for her newfound ally. "I don't know yet, but I need to check on it." She quickly gathered her equipment and activated her cloaking device. "I'll be in touch as soon as I can. Please stay safe." As Alia made her way back to the ship, her mind raced with possibilities. What could have caused the breach? Had their secrecy been compromised? The urgency of the situation was compounded by the growing bond she felt with Alex. The thought of jeopardizing their mission, or worse, putting Alex in danger, was unbearable. Back at the ship, Alia found her team in a state of high alert. Zur, her mentor, was pacing the command center with a stern expression. "We've detected unusual activity near the landing site," Zur explained. "It could be a sign that someone has discovered our presence." Alia's heart sank. "What do we know about the breach?" "Not much yet," Zur replied. "But we need to increase our security measures and conduct a thorough sweep of the area. This mission could be at risk." Alia's mind raced. If their location had been exposed, it would not only endanger their mission, but also the safety of their base. She needed to act quickly to mitigate the damage. "I'll help with the sweep," Alia offered. "I can use my knowledge of the environment to pinpoint any potential threats." Zur nodded, appreciating her proactive approach. "Very well. We need to ensure that our operations remain secure and that our presence here stays hidden." As Alia and her team conducted the search, she couldn't shake the feeling of unease. The breach had revealed vulnerabilities in their mission security, and the risk of exposure was higher than ever. Later that night, as Alia reviewed the data from the security sweep, she received a message from Alex. "Are you all right? I'm worried about you." Alia's heart warmed at the concern in his message. She quickly responded, "I'm fine. There was a security breach, but we're handling it. I'll need to be cautious about our next meeting. We can't afford any more risks." Alex's reply was swift. "Understood. Stay safe. I'll be here if you need me." The bond between Alia and Alex had grown stronger through their shared experiences. Despite the dangers they faced, their collaboration had the potential to yield unprecedented discoveries and foster a deeper understanding between their worlds. As Alia prepared to rejoin her team, she reflected on the progress they had made and the challenges that lay ahead. The mission was at a critical juncture, and every decision she made could impact its success. The stakes were high, but Alia was determined to see it through. The atmosphere inside the ship was tense as Alia's team continued their security sweep. The breach had rattled everyone, and the heightened security measures were taking a toll. The once eager scientists were now focused on protecting their mission at all costs. As Alia reviewed the latest security data, she found no immediate signs of intrusion. However, the sense of vulnerability lingered, gnawing at her. The risk of their mission being exposed was greater than ever. In this charged environment, Alia knew she needed to be cautious in her dealings with Alex, her human ally. The following evening, after the security measures were reinforced, Alia prepared for her next meeting with Alex. She needed to gather more data about the bioluminescent plants and ensure that their mission remained concealed. As dusk fell, she activated her cloaking device and made her way to the secluded grove. Alex was already waiting by the lake, his figure illuminated by the soft glow of the bioluminescent flora. He looked up as Alia shimmered into view, his expression a mix of relief and concern. "I was worried," Alex admitted, his voice low. "How did everything go?" "The security breach was contained," Alia said, trying to sound reassuring. "But we need to be more careful. The risk of exposure is higher now." Alex nodded, his face serious. "Understood. Let's focus on our work. What's the plan for tonight?" "We'll continue analyzing the bioluminescent plants," Alia replied. "But we must keep our conversation discreet. We can't afford any slip-ups." As they set up their equipment, the conversation shifted back to their research. Alia explained the findings from their previous analyses, while Alex shared new observations about the plant's electromagnetic fields. Their collaboration was seamless, and their mutual respect for each other's expertise deepened. However, as they worked, Alia couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The forest seemed unusually quiet, and the bioluminescent plants emitted a more intense glow than usual. She glanced around, her senses on high alert. "Do you notice anything strange?" Alia asked, her voice barely a whisper. Alex looked around, his brow furrowed. "No, everything seems normal to me." "Why?" "I'm not sure," Alia said, her antenna twitching with unease. "It just feels different." Before Alex could respond, a sudden rustling in the underbrush startled them both. Alia's heart raced as she turned her attention to the noise. The cloaking device was still active, but the disturbance had raised her anxiety. A group of humans emerged from the trees, their voices low but distinct. They were not the same individuals Alex had been with before. Alia and Alex quickly took cover, their hearts pounding in unison. "This could be trouble," Alex whispered. "If they find us." "We need to stay hidden," Alia interrupted. "We can't let them discover our presence." The group of humans moved closer, their conversation growing louder. Alia and Alex watched in tense silence as they set up their own equipment and began examining the bioluminescent plants. It was clear they were conducting research, but their presence was a significant threat to Alia's mission. "What do we do?" Alex asked, his voice filled with worry. Alia considered their options. "We need to leave. If they discover us, it could jeopardize everything." With careful movements, Alia and Alex retreated deeper into the forest. The cloaking device masked their presence, but the risk of detection was high. They made their way back to the ship, their nerves frayed. Once inside the ship, Alia reported the incident to Zir and the rest of the team. "We've encountered another group of humans near the bioluminescent plants. They were conducting their own research." Zir's expression was grim. "This complicates matters. We need to increase our surveillance and ensure that our location remains undisclosed." Alia nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. The presence of other humans near their research site meant that their mission was more vulnerable than ever. The delicate balance between secrecy and discovery was precarious. Later that night, as Alia reviewed the data from the recent encounter, she received a message from Alex. "I'm sorry about earlier. I didn't expect there to be other researchers. Are you okay?" Alia's heart warmed at the concern in his message. "I'm fine. The situation was handled. But we need to be more cautious in the future." Alex's reply was quick. "Absolutely. I'll make sure to avoid that area for now. Let's keep in touch and continue our research as planned." As Alia prepared for another day of research and security measures, she reflected on the challenges they faced. The mission was at a critical juncture, and every decision she made could impact its success. The presence of other researchers added a new layer of complexity to their already risky undertaking. Days passed, and Alia's team adjusted to the new reality of their mission. The presence of other human researchers in the forest had intensified their need for caution. Alia and Alex continued their clandestine meetings, their collaboration yielding valuable insights into Earth's bioluminescent flora. Yet each encounter was fraught with tension as the risk of discovery grew. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the forest floor, Alia received a new message from Alex. "I've made an interesting discovery. I think you need to see this. Meet me at the usual spot." Curiosity piqued, Alia prepared for the journey. She slipped into her protective suit, ensuring the cloaking device was fully operational. The journey to the meeting point was fraught with vigilance, as the presence of the other human researchers remained a constant concern. When Alia arrived, Alex was waiting by the lake, his expression a mix of excitement and apprehension. "You're just in time," he said, motioning for her to follow. "I found something unusual in the bioluminescent plants. It's not just their glow that's interesting." Alia's antenna twitched with interest as she followed Alex to a secluded area. There, he pointed to a cluster of plants exhibiting an unusual pattern. "Look at this," he said, his voice low. "These plants seem to be communicating with each other. Their light patterns are synchronized in a way that suggests a form of bioelectric signaling." Alia studied the plants closely, her scientific curiosity ignited. This is fascinating. It's possible they are using these signals to coordinate activities or respond to environmental changes. Alex nodded. Exactly. I've been analyzing the patterns and have noticed a recurring sequence that could be a form of language. The idea of a plant-based communication system was groundbreaking. Alia began recording the data, her mind racing with possibilities. The implications of such a discovery could extend beyond the realm of biology and into the fields of communication and artificial intelligence. As they worked, Alex's expression grew more serious. There's something else I need to show you. It's related to the human researchers who were in the forest. Alia's interest sharpened. What did you find? Alex led her to a hidden clearing, where a small, makeshift lab had been set up. I believe this is where the other researchers have been conducting their experiments. They've left behind some equipment and documents. Alia examined the documents, her eyes widening as she read through the notes. They're investigating similar phenomena, she said, her voice filled with concern. Their research could potentially intersect with ours, and if they discover our presence, it could be disastrous. Alex's face was etched with worry. I agree. We need to stay one step ahead. We can't let them find out what we're doing. As Alia and Alex discussed their next steps, the forest around them seemed to close in. The weight of their mission pressed heavily on their shoulders. They needed to protect their research while continuing to advance their understanding of Earth's unique biosphere. The following day, Alia's team continued their work, now even more vigilant than before. The forest was alive with activity, but every rustle and sound seemed to carry added significance. The presence of the other researchers cast a shadow over their efforts, adding a layer of uncertainty to their mission. That evening, as Alia prepared for another clandestine meeting with Alex, she received an urgent communication from Zur. Alia, we have a situation. One of our security systems has detected an anomaly. We need you back at the ship immediately. A sense of dread filled Alia as she hurried back to the ship. The anomaly could mean anything, an intrusion, a malfunction, or something worse. The safety of the mission depended on her swift response. Upon arrival, Alia was met by Zur and the rest of the team. What's the situation? Alia asked, her voice tense. Zur's expression was grave. We've detected an unknown signal coming from a location near our research site. It's interfering with our systems and could potentially be a threat. Alia's heart sank. The interference could be related to the other researchers or something entirely different. She needed to assess the situation quickly. As the team worked to isolate the source of the signal, Alia's mind raced with possibilities. The threat could jeopardize their mission and endanger their safety. She needed to act decisively to protect their research and ensure their continued success. With the signal still being analyzed, Alia made the decision to temporarily suspend their fieldwork. The risk of exposure was too great, and the priority was to secure their position. She would continue her meetings with Alex under even tighter security, ensuring that their work remained protected from prying eyes. As the night fell and the forest grew quiet, Alia reflected on the challenges they faced. The mission was at a critical juncture, and every action they took would determine its success or failure. The unknown signal was a stark reminder of the risks they faced, but it also fueled her determination to see the mission through to its conclusion. The following days were marked by heightened vigilance and tension. Alia and her team were on high alert, their every move scrutinized as they worked to pinpoint the source of the interference. The anomaly was a constant reminder of the fragile nature of their mission, and the urgency to resolve the situation grew with each passing hour. Alia's secret meetings with Alex had become more tense. They had to be even more cautious, using encrypted communications and meeting in increasingly remote locations. Despite the risks, their collaboration continued to yield valuable insights into Earth's biosphere. Yet, the looming threat of discovery and the unknown signal cast a shadow over their achievements. One evening, as Alia prepared for yet another clandestine meeting, Zur called an emergency briefing. "We've traced the signal to a specific location near the forest's edge," Zur said, her voice filled with concern. "It appears to be coming from an unknown source. We need to investigate immediately." Alia's heart raced. The signal could be a potential threat, and the team's safety was paramount. She knew they had to act swiftly to protect their research and their lives. With the team's resources mobilized, Alia and a small group of trusted members set out toward the signal source. The forest was dense and dark, the only illumination coming from their portable lights and the bioluminescence of the flora around them. The journey was arduous, the atmosphere charged with anticipation and anxiety. As they approached the source of the signal, Alia's communicator crackled with static. "Alia, it's Alex. I've intercepted a message from the other researchers. They've discovered our location and are preparing to investigate." Alia's blood ran cold. The situation was becoming increasingly precarious. She needed to find a way to protect their position while addressing the signal. "Alex, can you hold them off or redirect them? We need time to secure the area." "I'll do my best," Alex replied, his voice strained. "But you need to be quick. The researchers are closing in." Alia and her team continued their approach, their senses on high alert. They reached the signal's origin, a concealed transmitter hidden among the trees. The device was emitting a low-frequency signal, causing interference with their equipment. It was clear that this was the source of the anomaly. "We need to disable this transmitter," Alia said, her voice resolute. "If we can neutralize it, we can regain control of our systems and prevent the researchers from locating us." The team worked quickly, dismantling the transmitter and securing the area. The process was delicate, requiring precision to avoid detection. As they completed the task, Alia's communicator crackled again. "Alia, the researchers are approaching. They've detected a disturbance and are heading this way." Alia's heart raced as she and her team prepared for the worst. They had to ensure their mission's integrity while evading detection. The forest around them seemed to close in as they awaited the researchers' arrival. Suddenly, the distant sound of voices grew louder. Alia's team moved swiftly, using the cover of darkness to their advantage. They split up, each member taking a different path to create confusion and delay the researchers. As Alia moved through the forest, her thoughts were consumed by the gravity of the situation. The success of their mission depended on their ability to stay hidden and protect their research. The confrontation with the other researchers was inevitable, but their actions would determine the outcome. Meanwhile, Alex was doing his best to buy time. He had managed to delay the researchers by diverting their attention to a different area, buying precious moments for Alia and her team. "I'm setting up a decoy signal." Alex's voice came through the communicator. "It should draw them away from your location." The diversion worked, and the researchers began to follow the false trail. Alia's team regrouped, their adrenaline still high from the close call. The immediate threat had been averted, but the situation remained volatile. They needed to remain vigilant and prepared for any further developments. As the team returned to their base, Alia couldn't help but reflect on the precarious nature of their mission. The encounter with the other researchers had highlighted the risks they faced, but it had also strengthened their resolve. They were on the brink of making groundbreaking discoveries, and the challenges they faced only fueled their determination. The following days were spent consolidating their findings and securing their position. Alia and Alex continued their secret meetings, their collaboration growing stronger despite the obstacles. The research on Earth's biosphere had yielded incredible insights, and the potential for future discoveries was vast. Alia knew that their mission was far from over. The interference had been a stark reminder of the challenges they faced, but it had also shown the strength and resilience of their team. They were making progress, and the opportunity to bridge the gap between their worlds was within reach. As the sun rose over the forest, casting a warm glow across the landscape, Alia and her team prepared for the next phase of their mission. The journey had been fraught with challenges, but they were ready to face whatever lay ahead. Their commitment to discovery and understanding drove them forward, and the future held endless possibilities. Thank you for following along with the story. The journey of Alia and Alex has been one of courage and determination, and their story continues to unfold.